A increasing quantity of companies trust with attached kites and drones is a sustainable way to gear the much stronger and more than consecutive top altitude winds. Could the technology produce breeze force's complete capacity, or will it ever stay a alcove decision? Breeze force engendered 5 times more than power in 2018 rather than in 2008, onto latter figures of the U.S. Power Data Authority. Yet it just accounts for 4% of the planet's power. Critics spot to the reality how the breeze doesn't ever strike, the alternation issue, manufacturing the shape of revolving power insecure. But winds at high altitudes, over 500 meter, 1,640 FOOT, strike much stronger and more than sequentially. An powerful 2012 research of California's Lawrence Livermore Domestic Lab found how top altitude winds could ensure 100 times the world power requirement. Breeze gas turbines been receive greater and greater in a bid to accessing winds at top height, says Udo Zillman of Trading Associate on board Breeze Europe. Yet how tall enormous, costly towers. So high drones and kites are now proper recognized, reduce cost supplements, he argues. Onboard breeze power is a minimalist release of a turbine, comprising just the required beginnings, a razor and a tie measurement a few centimeters in dia, he explains. These systems need among 1% and 10% of the material utilized to build a turbine and can as well be earthed if required, for sample to easy the passageway of migratory bird. Makani, portion of Google's parental business script, is one of the company's work in the top altitude breeze area. Its enormous prototyping paper kite is attached to the land and managed in loops by flying computers how use GPS and some sensors. As the paper kite completes its loops, rotors on the 26M, 85 FOOT, fender rotation in the breeze, switching generators to make power downward the tie to the mesh. Makani began test its present prototyping, that is intended to make up to 600 kilowatts of power, quite to force on 300 homes, in 2015. And in association in Power Gigantic Membrane, it is on to test a new offshore framework installed on float buoys. We schedule to install Makani's paper kite on a little feldspar beacon moored in a artificial link and seriousness anchoring, says the company's head execution, Fortress Felker. The is probable since Makani's kites are 90% cigarette lighter rather than gas turbines of a such force ranking. It's an breathtaking engineering problem. Flyer power capturing kites or drones offshore makes feeling of a regulating spot of type, taking into account how several can journey 600 meter in every line. You requirement a enormous region to work the one unit, that is one cause lot companies are looking offshore, says Mr. Zillman. Down there are as well a quantity of companies work on ways to use breeze force generating drones above Earth, although Switzerland begin up Skypal, for sample, has advanced an independent hum how can fly as top as 600 meter, on 3 times the altitude of a conventional breeze turbine. Its present prototyping is a hard fender, much copter carton wing hum how can get off an Earth by itself, in no requirement for a missile launcher or land breeze. The get off is cell given, but one day in the air the cell is recharged each period the paper kite loops behind downward to the land. One day it has climbed to operational altitude, the hum transitions to paper kite regime by lathe 90 degrees of the erect stance, and generates thrust on the tie, that is assigned to a hoist how is related to a oscillator, explains Skypal head execution Nicola Mona. It's a framework how enables us to fly among 200 meter and 600 meter over the land in any position. Previous use is potential to be bounded to less projects, Mr. Mona admits, but he believes the Skypal framework could one day be utilized to encounter big-scale power demands. In the medium term, I can see our technique creature utilized for remotely away grid system, such as mountain operative and calamity ease projects, he says. In the much longer period, yet, I anticipate greater breeze agriculture able of generative up to 100 megawatt root MWE of force. Some coastal top altitude breeze players involve Alta Eros Energies, a Massachusetts-based technique business, how brought invest of Mitsubishi Hard Industries in 2015. Its cheerful onboard turbine involves a helium gas-filled membrane, how open a breeze turbine to 600 meter over land, an urge to delivery force, telecom, and some services to the billions of human beings about the planet who dwell out of safe power and web accessing. The big disadvantage of such a system is how they don't produce how lot power compared to present gas turbines. Makani's enormous propellered hum, for sample, produces on 20 times less than power rather than the greatest offshore gas turbines now creature advanced. These can make up to 12 megawatt, root MWE. So you would requirement hundreds of them to make quite power to force a little town, for sample. The is why Mr. Zillman sees them more than as this following move in the digitization of the conventional windmill, and expects them to be utilized in concurrent in conventional breeze turbine towers to a length period still. But revolving power, breeze, sunny, hydro, is certainly able of meet the whole planet's power as necessary, and drones can assist us reach the, he concludes.